To all the doubters, doubters, to those who don't believe, this is the hour, hour. You'll see that we'll make ladders out of obstacles and stepping stones from roadblocks. Leap over the lines to say we won't cross, but your hands like they're nothing. They won't see us coming. Scale all of the walls they built to hold us. We may be invisible, but we'll be unmistakable. We may be invisible. They may be blind to me, just wait and see. Don't be afraid of the dark, be careful with stars. Not every light is gonna guide you, baby. Don't let them rain on your spark. Keep it close to your heart. All of the pressure's gonna drive you crazy. Close your eyes to the madness. In the morning it's all gonna vanish. Don't be afraid of the dark, be careful with stars. Not every light is gonna guide you.
Yeah, when I blow up, I'ma soar high like Peter Pan. In real life, be living out my dreams. If I'm waking up, it's in a foreign land. Whole wrist covered up in ice. Dealership, never ask the price. I'll hit the mall and ball with my dogs. Yeah, I swipe it once without thinking twice. Cause this what I was made for. Man, I know this what I came for. On a big stage, couple thousand people, and they do whatever I say so. Have chicks that color of the rainbow. Yeah, chains on me like Django. Be a long way from my tank low. Cause my Tesla charge for them bank rolls. And I'm grinding, money on my mind, and I'm headed to the top. I won't stop until I find it. Write my name in diamonds, but all these lights are blinding. I wonder, is it worth it? Feel like I'm losing my mind. Yeah, remind me.
Don't be afraid of the dark, be careful with stars. Not every light is gonna guide you, baby. Don't let them rain on your spark. Keep it close to your heart. All of the pressure's gonna drive you crazy. Close your eyes to the madness. In the morning it's all gonna vanish. Don't be afraid of the dark, be careful with stars. Not every light is gonna guide you.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid, don't be afraid.
Yeah. Look, since I blew up, everybody telling me that I'm the man. Same people gave me the finger, they reaching out for me to give a hand. In a different city and my pills came, cause this tour don't happen, I feel pain. And the girl with me say she down for life, but she don't even know what's my real name. Just try to get what she came for, and ain't nothing I got safe though. Cause when the money go wild, everybody get a piece, but it's looking like I ain't on the payroll. Got a big house made out of Play-Doh, and a plastic crown for my halo. But still a long way from my tank low, cause my Tesla charge for them bank rolls. And I'm grinding, money on my mind, and I'm headed to the top. I won't stop until I find it. Write my name in diamonds, but all these lights are blinding. I wonder, is it worth it? Feel like I'm losing my mind. Yeah, remind me.
Don't be afraid of the dark, be careful with stars. Not every light is gonna guide you, baby. Don't let them rain on your spark. Keep it close to your heart. All of the pressure's gonna drive you crazy. Close your eyes to the madness. In the morning it's all gonna vanish. Don't be afraid of the dark, be careful with stars. Not every light is gonna guide you.
Hey, hello and welcome to Panther Lights Live, episode 2. I am Kevin, and this fine young man to my right is Mr. Dale. How we doing today, Dale?
Hi, I'm good, man. One thing I can do without with these lives is all the countdowns. Like
I,
my life's enough of a countdown, and then it's like you've got 5 minutes, and this.
I
I
know.
set a nap before this too, for it's like always setting these timers, so
Yeah, it's
we're
funny.
actually live.
The funny part is that, leading up here to everything's been great. I'm like, we got the first one out of our way. I'm like, hell yeah,
Yeah.
this is awesome. Like, I'm, the nerves at all the way up until the countdown. Fine. For some reason,
Right.
that countdown hits, my heart my heart rate increases every few seconds.
Yeah, I think it's getting a little bit easier to sort of, last week was by the seat of our pants, and this week we're super organized, aren't we, Kevin?
Oh, I think we have definitely some of the ticks ironed out as we had some technical difficulties last week. Thankfully, that has been since resolved. And we also have a few notes and things that I think is going to be a little easier for us to get into.
Yeah, I mean, we sort of just like we just scratched the surface last week about people. What I really liked about last week was how we spoke to so many people that we know. So it's nice to be. Will it be Kevin? Sorry, I'm going right into the comments. Will
I
it be
know.
Kevin and
That's
Dale
okay.
every live stream. God, I hope not. We're gonna get boring after a while.
Yeah.
I think the whole plan is to like probably bring guests on. And one thing we wanted to do was delve a little bit deeper into the tech of Ecamm Live here, right? And be able to try to play some videos and talk about builds that I've worked on myself with documenting, and have you do some play-by-play sort of commentary as well. But I guess it's just going to take some time to get there.
For sure. Yeah. To kind of elaborate on that, the structure or the way you see it now, the live stream, that the way that it sits presently, it will be Dale and I. Now that I do have other ideas for other live streams where I will be alone. It won't be in the same setting. I will have a sort of a mobile cart set up with my laptop and obviously some of the other things required to run this live stream. But I will be live streaming actual full-length builds. I mean, it might be all day. Like, it's one of those things where I think I'll wake up, get things going, hit live, and just see who joins, and while I'm building someone's lights. So that's one of my other ideas I have, sort of wrapped in the books there.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
There's a guy I know who in the color grading, editing, Final Cut video kind of filmmaking world, where he does live streams where he just shares his whole screen of him editing, making edits, and he puts beats on in the background, and he usually does it during the color grading process. So he's just live editing these beautiful sunsets and changing the hue and the Photoshop kind of stuff, and it was really actually relaxing to kind of just have that on in the background.
Sure. Well, sad to say that my videos probably won't be so relaxing and visually beautiful. It'll probably be loud and obnoxious while I'm running Dremels and compressors and all kinds of dirty stuff. But I think, for at least my followers and the people that have been following me for some time now, I think, giving a peek behind the scenes in terms of like what it is that I do, I think some people might find that interesting, and if I can get some eyeballs and try to enjoy, some company in doing so. So we'll see how that goes. I don't have a time frame when that's going to start, but it is something that I've considered for sure.
Yeah, good. It's the journey.
Yeah, for sure. And I actually saw an interesting stat this morning. I was kind of getting prepared for today, and I was scrolling through our YouTube. The creator studio, and 46% of the people who tuned in last week's live stream is not subscribed to the channel. So get the formalities out of the way. That said, it looks like we're already off to a good start. Brooke, I did notice you. Hi. There is a handful of people in here already, which I do absolutely appreciate that. But people that are in here right now, if you haven't already, please like the video, subscribe to the channel if you aren't already. But most importantly, we really want to make sure that this video is shared with anybody who you think might want to join in. And honestly, if we can all contribute to build this thing together, I think we can continue to make it bigger and better every week.
Well said. Like a true salesman.
I got to tell you, I did pretty good.
That was pretty good. At least you're not like Peter McKinnon and have to do, what's up, everybody?
Oh, that giant thing
Hit
that just
that bell button.
yeah, it blows my
It
ears
does
out
seem like
every.
like it's. I get it. We have to do it, right? We need people and eyeballs, and we need to. If we're
Absolutely.
going to grow something, you need people, and you need to grow it from like a grassroots sort of community, as opposed to just, hiring a team.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, I think you and I have talked. I don't know if we touched on this a little bit, but very quickly last week. But I know you and I've mentioned this in the last. I'm sorry, behind the scenes, but it does take everybody, and I know that me as Panther Lights, me as a business, but behind all of that, I am a human, and I do believe the human and the human behind it is what's going to help. Sort of boost this and every other thing that we have going on. And all of the people that I have, sort of religious followers, it's amazing to me, really, how strong that can be. These people, I've been getting a lot of messages behind the scenes, a lot of comments and stuff. It's just, it really is amazing how strong our community is and how much better I think it can be still.
Yeah, I'm thinking about the latest Panther news. Sammy Mack went to the Home Depot and got some lawn edging. And I don't know how
does he do it?
I zoomed in on those pictures, man, and they look really, really good.
Did you see the updated pictures? How he
color matched it too.
Yeah. I got to tell you, I think Home Depot should sponsor him in some form or fashion, because the stuff that he puts together is mind-boggling to me.
It's just like, and there's something new every week, and I love that. It's like a Frankenstein kind of vehicle for him. I love that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I paint matched my grill like 3 weeks ago, and it was inspired by him. I actually reached out to him and said, "Hey man, you want to make one for me and send one back?" And he's like, "Well, so I was just like, I did it myself, and it was really fun, very kind of soothing to just, because I'm not like, I don't wrench on the car too much. I can do oil changes and a few things, but I'm not,
Yeah, but and I'm actually looking here at the comments, and I do want to give a couple shout outs too.
Sure,
I see we
let's
got
do it.
John Elvick. I got to tell you, Mr. John, if you have any ideas, whoops, let me move that sucker over. You have any ideas what I went through to build that headlight? We're out. We're not doing that again. Unless we're going to use yours as a foundation and sort of customize and modify, then that's, yeah. What else we got? Christian Perez. Yes, actually, couldn't have said it better. And we kind of touched on this a little bit last week. There are so many different types of groups and communities within the Panther. It's the Panther platform itself. I don't understand. I mean, the East Coast, the Southern guys, the West Coast. I mean, vastly different people.
Vastly different. I found it very different when I was traveling and I met the Panther Mafia guys out on the West Coast, compared to even Panther Mafia guys in the DMV and in Philly. Like, there's just it's like hip hop, right? Like, there really is a sound or a thing, East Coast versus West Coast.
Sure.
It's really quite interesting.
It's always been a thing. Forever.
It's always been a thing. I think the Panther Mafia guys are so well sort of put together with each, like, they've got their brand down.
Oh, sure.
And I think it's one of the only Panther communities, other than the Crown Vic boys, I guess, but they're like a huge, they're like Teamsters of Crown Vics.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know what, to that point, I mean, a little history about me. My sort of intro into the Crown Vic world was a really good friend of mine. Kind of surprised me. He kind of followed me home one day to tell me how much he liked my car, and him and I just became, amazing friends at that point. And, a year or two down the road, we ended up forming CVB Chapter 21.
Yeah.
and we had, I mean, at one time I think we had like 33, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, we used to go downtown in Cleveland and hang down underneath the bridges.
Yeah, I saw
You
you
know,
sent me pictures.
yeah, it
Looks
was
great.
just the most, at that point in my life, I was so down because I had lost my job, and like it was a whole thing. I'm not, again, that's a story we can get into another time. But like that's got me through so much, just having that community of Crown Vic loving. It was just it was just wild. It got me through some of the worst times of my life, truthfully.
You meet some great people, that's for sure.
Yeah.
In the car, there's something about something that's so personal, with owning a car and modifying a car and just being a car person, that you're so connected to these cars. When you see other people who share that same passion,
Yeah.
it's like, it's like going to war with people or something like that. It's like being
Yeah.
soldiers together or something. I don't know what's to explain.
No, it's you're 100% right on that. I find it very hard to replace, how the car just kind of like connects people. There's
Yeah.
nothing else that does that's I mean nothing that I'm aware of anyways that can do that. Just brings so many people together. It kind of just falls back. I know we're kind of beating a dead horse at this point, but
Mm-hmm.
all of these different communities,
Yeah.
different people, still all
Yeah.
revolving around one thing. It's just
Yeah,
it's
cars.
wild to me. It really is.
Yeah, vehicles in general.
Mm-hmm.
There's lots of bike people out there too.
Yeah.
But
Oh, that's true too. That's true. I do have a few motorcycle buddies of mine as well as my father too. He's a Harley guy. Good
yeah,
Lord, if he's not with 11 other people.
and something else. Like I was out today. I had my relatives over here from Scotland, so I've got like an uncle and an aunt and their son and his son, and they went for a ride in the Grand Marquis, and of course it's like they don't understand it because they're British. They're from the
Yeah.
UK, so they don't really get it, right? And they're, oh, that's nice. It looks like a limousine, you'd get in the movies. You'd see that, right? And then I started it up, cold start, and it's
Oh.
loud as hell. And they said, oh, the police don't bother you about that. And I'm like a middle-aged white dude or grandpa car, like, it's bothering me. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sure that went over pretty well.
Yeah, and it's just yeah, no, it was fine though. But like the thing is like there's always somebody out of the woodwork that'll come and give me the thumbs up and be like, man, I love your car, or I used to have it. Like it brings up a story. Like you drive a Corvette down the street or a Mustang or a Tesla or a Jeep, but like there's something about Grand Marquis and Crown Vics and Panthers that pulls people out of the woodwork to give you a nice compliment.
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
It's
People you
not
wouldn't.
always because you have a Testarossa or a Lamborghini or something. It's like,
Right. Yeah. And it's funny
if
to from the outside perspective, I see some of these these Panther meets and some of these other guys, even at this, the smaller or bigger communities, whatever. And you could have the most rusted out, doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Like it could be like the biggest jalopy POS in the world, but like some of these guys still have so much passion and so much love for it. And the guys like John Kerry, he's got that supercharged Marauder. You got but the highest end of both ends of the spectrum, and they all still can be together and enjoy the platform for what it is, regardless of condition, regardless of anything. I don't know. It's wild.
I've never been addicted to a car like this before, and it's very, very strange and bizarre. It's like a type of drug.
Yeah.
It
Yeah, and
really
from the outside looking in, I mean, I try to picture what other people might see when they drive by a parking lot and there's 40 cop cars sitting there, like I don't know. It's a funny image to me.
I want to get another one.
Do you?
I want to get another one. Yeah, it's time to get another one. The prices have gone down a little bit, and we just did my my partner Jared, who we have the video production company with, he just bought a old BMW. I was saying we traveled down to Ohio and bought this late 70s BMW, and
Oh yeah,
like
you went right past me for that, didn't you?
yeah, bringatrailer.com. It was like, I'm so addicted to this site because it just, all the notifications, and there's Panthers everywhere and all sorts of cars everywhere. But I do want a P71. I want to have a black California highway patrol. That's the dream for me.
You
I don't
know,
want to do anything to it.
there's
I just want to leave
a
it.
there's a dealership, and I don't know. This is not like, I'm not like, I've never done business with them, but like when I was hardcore into like trying to find, man, I got this hot spot right on my face. Holy Moses. When I was trying to find my second car at the time, I ended up running across a company called Chicago Motors. And I don't know if you've looked into them, but my God, they have some of the nicest Crown Vics or like just police vehicles I've ever seen. They always, the inventory that they have is always pristine. Holy God.
Wow.
If you ever need any police vehicle, like I
That's
would at
good to
least
know.
start there.
That's good to know. Up here, there's a company, I won't name them, in Ontario and Canada here, that hoses people
Oh no.
for the emergency vehicles that they get, and it's like 50-50 buying a vehicle off those guys. But I don't know. It's they're getting few and far between, so they're not as cheap as they used to be. But by the same token, they're they're just
Yeah.
they're not they're not they'll never be worth lots of money. Marauders, yes,
Right.
original Marauders for sure, but unless it's got 1 kilometer or 1 mile on it.
Yeah. And to that point, like naturally everything is increasing in price, but I've seen a lot of increase even before the pandemic and all these other price hikes. I've been seeing a lot of increasing in value, and our market, our community is getting so big that I feel like there's no stopping. Whether obviously at some point it's going to come to an end. You know what I mean? But I just
at one point it'll take a long time, because there were so many cars in production for
right.
so many years, right?
Oh, I know.
And so I think it's gonna be a slow burn with the Panther platform.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope so, because
I think it will.
obviously I have my business, and I have that, and it's in interest, of course. But just the amount of people, I'd hate to see anything happen to it anytime soon. I don't think we have anything to worry about at this point, but not for a handful of years anyways. But
Well, I think if there's anything you have to worry about, it's just not being able to have a V8 gas powered vehicle anymore.
I'm scared for that. They're starting to shove this electric thing down our throats, and I don't have an immediate problem with that.
I hate them.
I just hate that we're being forced. That's what I hate. I get it, whatever,
a lot
but
of hypocrisy.
Right. A lot of
I just don't like the way they, like, politics aside. I just don't like. There's no soul to it. Like, I just don't. I need to hear it and feel it. The
Agreed.
squeaks and the pulleys and the exhaust and the feedback that you get from the vehicle.
Yeah.
The aspiration. It's like I don't know. It's like,
no.
I could see having a Prius or an electric vehicle if I lived in I don't know. Let's say I lived in Brooklyn, you know what I mean? Or if I lived in a dense, hugely populated city where I just have to drive 20 miles a day and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Then I guess maybe.
Yeah. Yeah.
But,
no, I'm with you on that for sure. Like we have, I think there's a lot of, how do I structure this? I think a lot of us can sort of like agree with this. Like, one of my favorite things in the world is clear skies, dusk-ish, windows down, sunroof open if you've got one.
Yeah.
V8 screaming behind you, maybe some music. wind, just wind coming through. Like, that is by far one of my most favorite feelings in the entire planet.
Yeah.
I don't know that an electric car could ever give me that sensation ever. I don't see how it could.
Yeah, I don't think it could.
No.
I mean, that being said, I watched Ken Block and his electric Subaru,
Oh,
and like the power and the torque that the cars put down is mind-boggling. But
Yeah.
it just doesn't have that. Like, we drive with Marty Oaks said that we drive with our ears.
Mm-hmm.
I think Anthony Bourdain said that we eat with our eyes.
Yeah.
So it's all you need. It's a sensory experience to drive.
It is. Yeah. No, that's a good point. And actually, where did it go? I just had a comment I wanted to bring up.
Sammy needs to get another town car.
Yeah.
If Sammy got a town car, what era would it be? A box town? What kind of town car would you be thinking?
It's a good question.
Yeah, because I've always been on the fence with town cars. Like, I love town cars, and I have a love-hate thing with town cars because I always see them as, like, if I see a black town car, I just think about the airport, and it's a limo.
Good point.
It's a and it's
Good
hard
point.
for me to get around that.
Yeah. Yeah. There's gosh, I can't think of his Instagram name, but man, there's this black one. You brought it up when you said black town car. It's an older, boxier one. Holy Moses! I'm wasting my breath right now because I can't explain it, but I'll see if I could pull that up here in a little bit.
There was one on the
when we start going
Smoking
through.
Tire, the YouTube channel, and he did one with it's got a Coyote swap in it. And a 6-speed or an 8-speed transmission, automatic transmission, which was weird. I don't think that's been done yet before.
No,
but it was a real sleeper too. He had the like original wheels and rims, and it wasn't slammed or anything. It wasn't loud, but he had a Coyote under the hood. And
oh man,
thing really moved.
Can you imagine that? I couldn't imagine that kind of power in a car.
You got to
like
think
that.
Coyote swapping. If you're not doing it yourself and you don't have a cheap donor engine, then it's $20,000, right?
Oh,
it's at least $25,000.
Yeah, it's many times worth more than than the value of your car. Many times.
Yeah,
many times.
But
so
cars are cool.
Where did it go? Gosh, I gotta learn to get better managing these comments. We got 109 comments already, and we're 23 minutes in. Oh Lord, where did it go? Anyway, I don't know. I can't find it.
Town cars are fun.
I've had a fine. I've never owned a town car, but my buddy Paris, the one that I was referencing a little bit ago here, what he did for a living, he bought and sold, I mean, probably a dozen or more cars every month. Okay, that was his living. That's what he did. He kept it under whatever the limit is. I don't know exactly what it is, if it changed, anywhere else. But in Ohio, there was a limit of however many cars you can have, buy and sell without having to file for.
Before you become I don't know what they call it there in Canada. They call it a curbsider.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Yes. That, whatever that is.
I think we get 10 a year.
Is it 10? Oh, okay. So
six or 10.
Okay, I don't know. Maybe either he was pulling some strings or he did something a lot different. Or ours is a lot higher than that. But I'm not kidding you, probably 10 to 12 cars a month. Okay.
Wow.
And that's naturally where I've got and they were all, 90% of them were Panther cars. Yeah. And I've seen my fair share of town car. So that's where my experience came from. He had what is it? The 90? No, I always said it was a town car. I lied. It was a Continental. That was the front wheel drive one, I think, right? And that.
Yeah, the Continental was front wheel drive. The Mark 8. Now that was a unicorn of a car.
I had one. I had a 93.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know if that's technically a Panther platform car.
It's not. I don't think so.
Same platform as the Thunderbird was.
Yeah, I don't believe that's considered Panther. It's if my memory is correct, it's just a town car, Marquis, Marauder, and Crown Vic.
And then after that, they came out with Lincoln LS, which I loved the look of that
Yeah.
vehicle.
I've always wanted to do a set of those headlights. Those
LS
headlights were
headlights.
beautiful.
Yeah, I love that car. People say it's a terrible motor in that car. It's a glorified Jaguar, is basically what it is.
Yeah. I've heard they had a
But
lot of issues with that motor specifically.
yeah, at 4.2.
Yeah,
Is
it
it a
wasn't.
4.2 liter V8?
It was a smaller V8. That's all I remember about it. As far as the details go, I don't know.
But beautiful car. It was sort of like Ford's answer at the time to BMW's 6 Series or 7 Series kind of cars, in that it was more European and sleeker. There's some cool builds out there.
Absolute
Yeah, I know
trash.
they're trash. But I just sort of I always liked that look. I always thought it was a really good looking vehicle. But yeah, everybody
Always
I've
loved it.
spoken to is like total trash.
Never found one person that I've met that would tell me, "Yeah, this is a great car."
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh gosh. So
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was just reading some of the comments saying that the cooling system was made of molded plastic and constantly splitting open.
Oh no.
Yeah. So thankfully with Panthers, they sort of got it right. I mean, they screwed up with the intake or the intakes on them, making them plastic, but there's some definite things that could have been better on Panther platforms.
Sure.
But they had lots of time to figure it out. So and I like how it was, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah. I mean, was 98 to 11 for that particular Crown Vic? There's not many cars that have that long of a life.
That's a pedigree,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And usually they change along the way.
So I wanted to take a minute. So earlier in the week, I had made a story on Instagram asking what any topics or questions people might have had. If it's okay, Dale, I'd like to address a couple of the questions that I received. They are kind of directed to me specifically, but I won't keep it too long. So the first question I received was...
I'm going to get my glass of water.
Yeah, go ahead. The first question I received was from Clap P71. He wanted to know if I could build headlights for Aero Crown Vics, which is basically pre-98. There's a really long-winded way of saying no. It's not worth the investment because the Aero Crown Vics have a fluted texture on the lens, and those lenses will completely destroy any physical, like any accent lighting that I add, any projectors that I add, anything that I put behind those lenses, it will absolutely destroy.
Really?
Yes. So I can do it. And I can take your money. Okay. But I refuse to do that. Like, I know that it's a complete waste, and I know that it's not worth that person's time or money to invest that kind of money into something they're not going to get the return on.
So here's, if someone wanted to do that to their Aero Vic,
Mm-hmm.
and they were like, it would be too much for you to, completely, because your process is so meticulous and by the book, and you don't skimp out on parts and stuff like that. So if someone wanted to sort of DIY that, I guess I could have a go at that to make it better than what it was. You're saying that you can't even upgrade the headlights in that car without difficulty?
Well, you can do things as simple as a drop-in bulb. I sell a lot of like high-end LEDs on my website, but those ones will absolutely in every way improve your your nighttime performance. However, because of the nature, on that style headlight,
It's really narrow.
They are very narrow for sure. But here's the thing that a lot of people may or may not know. The chrome backing, so you got your headlight bucket, right? And the bulb goes through that and then obviously shines forward, right? Mm-hmm. So the chrome backing on those headlights are smooth.
Yeah.
The reflection, the actual, I should say, projection of the light, the light that is actually being projected forward, that is happening from the texture on the lens. Okay? So that lens is absolutely necessary unless we can add a projector, and then maybe I can do some sort of vacuum forming a lens and all that stuff. But like that's when we're talking like
Vacuum forming.
yeah, it's a whole thing.
Yeah.
But
It's
like
worth more than the car.
that's what I mean. It's not worth the money. I can do it, but like I'm not ever going to ask somebody with a 97 Crown Vic to spend that kind of money. It just doesn't it doesn't make sense. So
Yeah.
on the
Short
newer,
answer, no. Long answer, no.
yeah, very long answer. No, I'm sorry. I can't offer anything for the arrows. It doesn't it's not a financial investment that I think anybody should be taking. I mean, unless you got some crazy build that you know, money is no object, but I don't know anybody that's doing that with a, you know, a pre-98. So so moving on to one other one here is from Iron Reaper asking when I will be offering the taillights for the Grand Marquis. So there's somebody in this chat right now that's actually me and him are actually working on something. I have a couple of dozen designs for taillights that I'm kind of holding out on right now. I have the Crown Vic taillights actually on a cart about 20 feet from me that I did build, but there's a lot of testing that I want to go through, and what I think some people may not know about my business is that I'd say about 99.9% of everything that I sell and build is not to local people. So I would like to have a Crown Vic, and I guess this is kind of like a calling. So if anybody in here is within driving distance to Northeast Ohio, I may have a deal for you. I have taillights here that I have already built. They are done, but I have no means of testing them because I will not ship them without testing them properly. So that said, they're done, and before I can come out with other designs, I have to finish this one and finish with the testing. So if anybody knows anybody that's, you know, that's willing to loan me a car, Justin Howes, yeah, way to go. Way to go, Ohio, he says. Ship me your car, will you? I got some things I want to do. But yeah, so those are the two sort of like business questions that I had. And I had one other question that I thought was really awesome. And this might actually, we could probably turn this into a little conversation for you as well. Not in the same context, of course. But
Sure.
the next question I have, and I didn't get a chance to screenshot it before it disappeared, was what was the first set of headlights that I've ever built? And I would like to actually share some pictures if people are interested. It's not a Crown Vic. I'm sorry. This was before I've ever owned a Crown Vic, but I would actually like to share what that is. So this car right here is a
Pontiac
2002 Pontiac Bonneville SSEI front-wheel drive supercharged V6. This car was like a dream car to me back then. I bought this in like 06.
It looks good.
It was beautiful. I drove by this thing 2 or 3 times, and every time I had to stop and look. Like I couldn't stop staring at this thing. So I had this car. I bought this in the shape that you see it, and it is very clean. I think it had like 20 or 30,000 miles on it at the time, and it was a great car. Great car. Now, this is a little embarrassing, but before I show a picture of what my first go at headlights looked like, let me explain what I did. So my first attempt at doing anything with headlights was buying so back in the day, osnium.com, and I know that's still a thing, but like back then it was like a real big thing. And they sell custom computer parts. And, you know, if you know anything about gamers and people who build custom computers, they always have lights, and they gotta be flashy, right? So I used to buy custom fans that had a cold cathode, a CCFL tube, a little glass tube around the outside of the ring of the fan. I used to buy those fans, completely disassemble them, and put those rings in my headlights. And when you do that, you're left with something that looks a little bit like this. So this was my first attempt at headlights. And now listen, what is it, 2023 right now? This was 2006. Okay, I've been doing headlights for a very long time. What, 17? Oh gosh, I'm awful at math. It's a lot of years at this point.
Yeah, primitive.
Yeah, and like before it was cool. Like I couldn't stop doing things. So this kind of
no one was doing that in 2006.
No, not really. I mean, honestly, like my first go at this, it is what it is. People are doing this now. So like I have obviously progressed quite a bit further than that. So
Certainly
that
have.
was my first little go at headlights, and I have a couple other images to share of this car really quick before we just move on. And there's a reason I thought that we can elaborate to you. That's
Sure.
me. That's me many years ago. You can see this car had a paint job. I have pictures of that too, but I'll, for time's sake, I'll skip on that. This is a hole in my hood, and we ended up going
Got the Michael
through.
Keaton look going on.
Yay, man. Listen, I had hair back then. I had a chin strap beard. My beard followed my chin, just so thin. I was such a douche back then. I'm not going to lie. So that is how that car goes. Now, there's a video that I want to share. And I'm going to turn this audio down because there's a commercial song back there, and I don't want to get tagged anyways. But you could see my giant hole in the hood here. But this car was a humongous project, and I'm going to try my best to pause here. So if you can tell, it's kind of in the way. We shaved all 4 door handles on this car. Okay.
Wow.
So no door handles. And I say we because I had my best friend, and it's still my best friend to this day. He went to OTC, Ohio Technical College, and did body work and custom paint. So we used to do body work and paint all the time. And at this part of the video, I'm showing you the door popper right there because obviously how the hell else do you get in the car? But this next little part, there's 2 parts to this, to the doors that I wanted to show you. Let me kind of squeeze past this. So now I got 4 doors. How do I open all 4 doors? Well, I have a 4-button relay, like a key fob, like a lock, unlock kind of thing, but there's 4 buttons. I have a button for each door. So every door can be opened via key fob. So the next step to that is, actually, let me show you that. So I'm opening, there's the key fob right there. And you can see the doors just popping open.
Nice.
Yeah. So I'm going to scoot forward a little bit here to the front. Now, imagine you're in the car and you're going to pick up a friend, a beautiful woman, maybe. And how do you let her in? Do you reach across and open it with the door handle?
Get out of the car and open it.
See, you shouldn't have said that. No, so I, at this point, I'm trying to figure out how on earth am I going to let this person or the other people in the car or people in the back, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So what we did, instead of relying on my key fob, is put these 3 buttons right here in the center console. So each button. So this, one of these did the back doors, each back door, and the other one did the passenger door. So I was able to just hit a button there to pop each door.
Star Trek shit.
I'm telling you, man. This again, this is 2000. This car at this point might be 2007 ish. Actually, so my wife is actually chiming in. It looks like a death trap now. She's not wrong. She's not wrong. But I'm trying to remember if I had this car at this point when her and I were together. We've been together for a very long time. Actually, here's another part to this car. The back panel. And it doesn't do a very good job here. This video sucks. I have better pictures, but here we go. So on the Bonneville, and this is going to be much like the Grand Marquis that have like the trunk panel that connects the two taillights. Mm-hmm. We cut a giant piece of metal in the shape of the rear reflector and threw a colossal ton of Bondo and fiberglass at this and shaved the rear reflector where I was left with just two taillights instead of one giant one. Wow. Absolutely insane. So anyway, let me skip this video and I'll wrap up with these two photos. So this was the front end when we were done with it before paint. It's in primer. We built that hood. We bought a Trans Am WS6 or what do they call those damn things? Oh Lord. The Trans Am, the Pontiac Trans Am of this era had these dual snorkels like that. So we ended up buying a fiberglass scoop and molding it to the hood there. And then the very last photo I'm going to share and we can move on here is this one where again it's in primer, but you can see how we removed that centerpiece and
looks better.
Thank you, Robert. WS6. Good Lord in heaven, I couldn't think of it. But yeah, I think it looks awesome. It's super clean. And that was kind of my my intro into, like, this was the first car that we've done myself. I had another car prior to this that was I probably dumped in 20 to 30 grand into, and that one was that one we did ourselves. So my question to you is, what was your first car? Not first car, but one that was like your sort of intro into, like, what made you fall in love with cars? Like, where do you go? Like, how did you start your endeavor into loving the four wheels?
My dad, backyard mechanic, his idol was Red Fox, and all he ever wanted in life was to be like Sanford and Son and own a junkyard and retire in his backyard with a whole bunch of stuff that he could just tinker with all day and fix. So I kind of grew up in that environment. Go-karts, snowmobiles, dirt bikes, went to stock car races growing up. My dad was a huge motorsports fan and DIY type of guy. But when I was 16, my neighbor sold me his 84, Mercury Capri 4-speed 5-liter 302.
Oh my.
And it was rusty. It had been in an accident. This thing had been like through a few owners. It was awful, right? But it was the first time I had, a manual transmission and a V8 engine in a rear wheel drive car. And I was hooked. Right after that, I was hooked. Funny story is that, talking 16 years old. So doing, we did the same thing. My dad and I did the body work on it, lots of Bondo. And I wanted to paint it lime green, like snot lime green, like really, really lime green. And I didn't have, my dad told me to save up for $600 and you could get a paint job down the road at this guy, and $600 is a lot of money. I was like, no, I've got to stop driving this car around in primer. And I'll just go to Maaco for $99.
I can't tell you how many cars I had just driving around in primer.
Right?
My wife
I wanted
hated
lime
me.
green so bad. And I sent it in, and it was this awesome, like lime green, right? Just like really, really bright and obnoxious, almost neon, And I got it back. And I said, it looks pretty good. Hey, Dad. My dad comes out, he finds the imperfection right away. And he goes, They
It's
didn't
green.
even clean off the bird shit from the hood. So I guess a seagull had crapped on the hood. They just like sprayed right over it. And I always had to look at that.
Yeah.
But that
And
was
that,
what got me into Mercury Capri.
no kidding.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of, is that a bigger car, or is that
No, that
I
was
can't
like a
picture.
Fox Body Mustang.
Oh,
They,
oh,
they
oh,
had
oh,
they had
oh.
the Mercury Capri
Yes,
and
yes.
the Ford Mustang. So
Got you.
from 82 to back in the 70s, it was really different. It was more of like a smaller, cool British type of car we didn't really get here in North America.
Sure. And you
But
said, and how old were you? Did you say 16?
16,
Yeah,
16. That was my first. That was the like I had enough money. I think a car cost me $1,500 or something like that
1,500. Wow,
back then.
Jesus, good Lord.
Yeah, yeah. And I had to work for like a year to save up $1,000. It seemed like.
Sure. Uh-oh. Did I lose you, Dale?
I just
Uh-oh.
love it.
Oh, there you go. You're back. Okay, you were kind of frozen there for a second.
Yeah, I think there's some internet weird. I'm still frozen on the screen.
No, it's really grainy. I don't know if maybe you have an internet connection over there going wrong, but you're moving. You're good. Great White. He was asking me how old I was when I was doing those jobs. I graduated high school in 2003. I was 18 in 2003. So this was in like 06, 07. So I was in, upper teens, lower 20s when I was doing these kinds of like crazy builds. And how old am I? 38. I just turned 38 in
You're
March
38.
this year. Yeah. My
Mary says, "How old are you, Dale?" I'm 87 years old.
Oh, you dinosaur.
I look pretty good for 87.
You do look good for
No,
87.
I just turned 52.
52?
52,
Nice.
52.
Fatu. All right. That's good.
So I feel good. I feel good. I don't feel like age is really caught up to me in terms of, well, like I can still go up. I can still walk around. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. Yeah, sure. Well, I guess that's more than half the battle anymore, right?
He looks 44. Thank you. Yeah, who would ever think that, when you'd be like, wow, you look 44. Wait till you get to be 52. I tried the age filter thing on TikTok where it makes you look older.
I did too.
And it just made me look the same.
I had I saw a couple of those where they said they look like their dad, and I tried. No, I just look like me with giant wrinkles. Oh, anyhow,
Well, I got some serious delay going on here.
yeah, no. See, I don't know.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. 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 Everything's good on my end here.
Because it's really funny. You're cracking up. You're laughing in slow motion right now on the screen to me.
Oh no, we gotta talk about your internet.
Hey man, it's the struggle is real. I think it's this time. I have a Wi-Fi signal booster. We've got the highest, best. Who knows?
Sure.
I don't know.
I didn't get a chance to do any research on this, but I ended up actually forgetting. I meant to do it earlier today. But did you happen to see Cletus McFarland had a 24-hour Crown Vic? I didn't. What did you follow up on that? What happened with that?
I didn't follow up on it, but I watched it. I was watching the live.
That's insane.
Yeah.
How many?
Yeah, I think, and it was. He went. Oh, it was going for a long time, and he was like the engine and everything. The motor it was going 100 miles an hour for 24 hours too.
Oh dang! I didn't know that.
So said he was worried more about his axles heating up than the motor.
Unbelievable. Well, let's see here. I think I ran out of notes. What do you got on the docket today, Mr. Dale? Anything good?
Well, I was going to share some stuff, but it's like I don't know if it'll. Let's see if I can share some stuff from back when I was at your place.
Your screen ended up your screen share dropped off.
Or am I?
I wonder if that's what happened here. Oh, there you go. Yep, you're back. Great White said, "Man's got Spectrum." I got to tell you, Spectrum might have been the worst service I've ever had. When I was in the city and I was able to get like a big commercial company like that, because I'm in a small town now. We have like some random off the wall thing to give us service, but holy Moses.
Yeah. So this is you taking my car apart.
Let me go over.
I don't know if you can see this.
Where are we at here? Dale share. There we are. Hey. Okay,
This
so
is a big process.
I'm showing our chat and stuff right now. Is what you're showing me on your screen.
Okay. How about this? Can you see this?
Not yet.
Nothing? Really?
I mean, I could see your screen, but I see our broadcast. I don't see anything that you're trying to show us.
Interesting. Interesting.
Well, here, I'll go ahead and pop that back off here for now while you work that out. I can still see your screen. Thank you. All right. So let's see. Okay, so what Dale is actually working on, he was here for the film that he so graciously put together. By the way, as I said last week, I'm incredibly excited for that. But during the interview, or shortly thereafter, we ended up building a set of custom headlights for his Grand Marquis. And during this process, he recorded quite beautifully every single step, every intricate detail. I mean, he's got hours of footage of this.
We've got the full build from A to Z.
The plan.
I'm sharing it now. It says I'm sharing it.
No, I don't even see your screen anymore. It dropped off. So the plan was to,
how's this?
Oh, there you go. That's back in action for sure. That's better.
Okay, let's see if I can share some stuff here.
So let me go ahead and bring
How
over.
about this?
I see your files. So I think you're sharing just a file right now. So let me see if I can change something on my end. Nope, and it dropped off again.
Yeah, I just keep changing it because I'm dumb. Let's see. It says I'll share entire screen here.
Okay, so I have a question. Panther Lights. I have an Infinity G20. I want custom headlights for. Absolutely, Christian. Definitely send me a message at Panther Lights, whether you're on Facebook, Instagram, anything like that. Shoot me a message, or you can email me at info@pantherlights.com. I'll definitely do my best to accommodate, but I don't see why we couldn't put something together there. Trouble LX Sport will be doing a video on my lights. Let's see. So I guess, and I apologize, you're going to have to tell me exactly who you are, because I don't know this Trouble LX Sport name. I apologize for that. And Robert, what vehicle are we referring to? Any appearance mods or power mods, and why? So are you asking me in general? I think is the question here. All right, Dale, I still only see your file explorer.
Really?
Yeah, I do not see the screen that you were playing a video for me earlier.
Interesting.
So do me a favor and go back to your when you were sharing the full screen. That
there
right
we
there.
are.
There you go.
And you can see this. I take it.
So I see your file explorer. I see you're getting ready to play something.
Yeah, you can see that.
Hey, yes, that's perfect. So hold on, let me go back here. There we go. Look at this detail. I got to tell you, look.
That's some close-up stuff.
Yeah, man. So what we're looking at here, actually, Trouble LX. Okay,
Sorry.
Thank you for clearing that up. Yes, I actually do plan on getting some videos and photos of your lights, because you're gonna Baxter. You're gonna have. Oh, I remember this. So yeah, you're gonna have a ton of media to play with for sure. That's going to be a good one. I'm excited for that one. Okay, let's see here. Oh, so right here, this is us going over where we're mounting the wire harness and the control box for the harness.
Yeah.
There's so
It's a
many
very important place.
Yeah, there's so many reasons or so many things that people overlook, and something so simple is like these can't be placed in any other orientation but vertically, as you see it, and basically because of the wires coming out of the bottom, and it's very important that these get laid up exactly in the vertical orientation. Let's see here.
Yeah, we went right between the battery and the...
Yeah. Yep, we mounted it directly to the core support there.
And it's all still doing really, really well.
Good. How are you? What am I seeing here? For some reason, I'm not getting your face over here. So I'm seeing a W for your face for some reason. Hold on a second.
That's weird.
Let me go back here real quick. Yeah. Oh, you're gone. Dale, what'd you do, Dale?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, but your face is gone. Uh-oh.
Dude, my battery in my camera died.
Oh, no. No, don't do that.
I'll just go get another battery.
Okay. Well, you go ahead and do that, and I'll address some of the questions. I see some questions popping up here. So let me scroll back. Yeah, go ahead. So I'll go ahead and pull over to just me. Look, you guys can look at. Oh my! Now my compressor kicks on. Good God, guys, this is a really terrible segment. I apologize. Guys, don't go anywhere. Give me 5 seconds. My compressor just kicked on. Hold on a second. Everything coming off at the seams all at once. I'm sorry, guys. Okay, so listen. Infinity. So Christian Perez, we got. You asked me about a G20. My mother had a G35, but I'm not super familiar with what the G20 is. So we'll certainly have to figure that out. Let's see here. What did I miss? My wife giving me some amazing compliments. I appreciate that, of course. David. Oh, hey, David. What's going on, man? I'm glad to see you. Glad to see you made it. I have something really cool to show you guys at some point here. Mr. David is going to be sending me. But I definitely appreciate you hopping on here. Let's see. Oh, Zoe, my guy. What's going on, Zoe? I'm glad you made it. I was just talking about us. I was talking about CVB here a little bit ago. And, some of the great things that we had here going 10 to 15 years ago. Man. Lots of comments. You guys are on fire today. 200 comments so far. 203 comments. I can't tell you how much I appreciate that. Okay. This is a really, really good question. Justin asks, okay, so when I ended up with Paris's Marauder, why did I only keep it for a little while? So the first correction I want to make to this, if it's okay, is I didn't actually end up with Paris's Marauder. I drove to Atlanta to buy a clone of said Marauder. For those of you who don't know, my friend that I was referring to earlier that sort of introduced me to this world of what we know as the Panther community or Panther Platform, he passed away a handful of years ago. He was probably one of the most influential people of my life, and he worked his ass off to get the Marauder, and he ended up passing away very, very shortly after he got that Marauder. and he was the reason that I still firmly believe he is the reason why I'm here today in the capacity that I am. Anyway, long story short is after his passing, I absolutely needed to feel closer to him. So I ended up buying a clone of his car, and we rented a car, my family and I. We drove down to Atlanta and dropped the rental car off there and drove it home. All of that to catch you up to speed. I had the car for a very short time because I was still in a place prior to my new environment here, where my garage was a single car garage, and it was quite literally falling apart. And I was not going to be. That car was a 2004. It had 30 something thousand miles on it, and there was a lot done to it. It was beautiful and in incredible condition. I was not going to be the reason that car saw any damage. The garage was very literally falling in on itself. So I ended up having to sell it to a gentleman in Poughkeepsie, Arkansas. He drove some 15 or 18 hours straight through, brought a truck and trailer, threw it on a trailer, and drove it home. He had it for a short time. He's getting divorced with his wife, and he calls me back and asks me if I wanted to buy my car back. This guy was so kind to me. He left. I had for Paris after his passing. I had custom license plates for Paris. I also had decals on the quarter glass showing his birthday, his death date, in memory of, and it had a silhouette of a marauder. He loved my story so much that he kept those stickers on that car and offered for me to buy it back. Unfortunately, we were in the process of buying this place, and I was not able to accommodate such a big expense. Long story short, I mean, that's a really long story long. I had no choice, and I had the opportunity to get it back, and unfortunately couldn't pull the trigger, and now it's in Texas. So that is my very long-winded way of saying I miss my car very, very much. Anyhow, so I was just answering questions, Dale. So it looks like you're back in action. Everything's good, huh?
Yeah, just battery just kaput. It's weird
Yeah.
because it's plugged in with USB-C, and it's supposed to be like a passover and just take the
battery.
charge back to
Yeah.
the camera. But yeah. Hey, here we are.
Yeah, and you're still
I
grainier
have some
than all
serious
get out,
lag.
unfortunately.
Yeah, it's really, really bad. My connection, not good.
You need right now, not right now, but tonight. No, I lied. Tomorrow, call your internet company and tell them you need some because we're going to do this, whether you like it or not. We're doing this, and we need them to help us so you're not grainy. And you died again. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, okay. There you go.
You know what I have? I have 50 feet of Ethernet cable.
Okay, that's not terrible.
So I could easily I could just not use Wi-Fi and just hardwire straight in.
That would certainly help. Sure. I mean, it pending that it's a Wi-Fi issue and not necessarily a service connection issue.
Who knows? It's always bad at this time here for whatever reason. I'm not sure. You guys have way better choice for providers. We have like 4 providers here.
We have one, at least where we're at. I know in general, in the bigger populated areas, cities, the bigger cities have 3 or 4 options because we're so far removed. We're about an hour from Cleveland now, and we have. So, you got things, the likes of like Time Warner and Spectrum and Xfinity or whatever they're called. You got all these. Verizon, I know, has their Fios or whatever. Some of these larger companies. We got this like rinky-dink. It's called Optimum now, but they just changed names. It used to be called Sudden Link. What? It's crap. Yeah. I mean, it's great. Like we get really fast speeds for living in the quote unquote country.
Hmm.
But it goes out. If you blink too hard, it goes out. It drives me nuts.
Wow. Yeah, Justin asked if there was Starlink was here. Yeah, Starlink's available here. You can do that. Something to look into,
Yeah,
especially if we're going to be live streaming.
I
It's
just looked
probably
into
pretty
that.
important.
I just looked into that. It's actually seems like a pretty viable option. It's actually earlier too. Great White asked you what kind of camera do you have, and what is the lens setup that you were showing us on that screen share?
So this is a Sony A7S III with the 24 to 70 G master lens,
Mm,
and it's a nice little setup. What I was uh, also going to say is that I had this idea the other day that I've got so much footage from the movie that I should, and this movie literally cost me, I think it was under $5,000 to make this whole film,
no
which
kidding.
is
I mean,
like, think about that,
is
right?
that including your
Like,
travels and everything, or you?
yeah, man,
Oh
everything.
man,
Because I
that's not
got
bad.
so lucky. I got so lucky with having points. I had a lot of points accrued,
Oh, so
so I could.
you cheated the system.
Well, actually, I cheated the system. I have to give credit to my wife because she was the one traveling with her work for like years,
So she
and
gave
she
you her
just got.
points for the hotels and all
She
the.
just said, just like book your way, do whatever you need to do, use the points, right?
Oh
So
my.
we used the points, and we still have points left. So I was thinking about making a series of videos about how you can make a movie for next to nothing, basically, and make it look beautiful and get your story across, and all just because you want to. It's not about the gear and the limitations. You can do it with a phone and an idea, right? Like you really can. So, and in
Yeah.
today's day and age, with technology so available to us all, that like you can get a really nice camera and one lens setup, a microphone, and a light, and just that alone for under $3,000.
Mm-hmm.
That's like Crown Vic money. That's like you get
Yeah.
your
Get a
whole
whole
movie
car.
crew and yeah, and a Crown Vic for under $10,000.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I mean, like basically all them technical specs. You got me like nerding out over here because you said G Master lens. I have a relatively expensive body. It's a Canon R5, which retails
It's a
for
great camera.
like $3,800 or something ridiculous. The lenses that I have are not the RF.
Hmm.
They're top the L series lenses. Is it L? No, I can't think of it.
Yeah, it's a letter.
Yeah, I think it's L series lenses. I don't have any of like that super high end lenses. The glass I have is not that, but uh, I will eventually get. I mean, the lens. I mean, as far as I can tell, the camera, the quality, it does produce some incredible quality. But
Sure, it's a full frame camera, right,
yeah,
with a
yeah,
big sensor.
oh
Yeah,
yeah,
I mean, the way, like, unfortunately, at this point, we are slaves to the broad, like the bandwidth. Doesn't
yeah,
matter how good it is, if it's going to squash you down to 360p.
yeah. Are we? Let me ask you this real quick. Are we gonna go and try to do your video again, or should we just drop off that screen share there to save some
Hmm,
bandwidth?
let's do that. Here, stop sharing. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Just that way we don't have that extra stream running.
That seemed to work a little bit nicer. Things crisped up a little bit.
Yeah, it sure did.
Yeah. But speaking a little bit more about gear and video and that sort of thing, um, I think that people could find some good value if I made that video, because we've got so much behind the scenes footage, and do a little bit of talking about how to get good shots, and how you can maximize. A lot of the times I found not having a lot of gear was better to capture intimacy. Like, just having your phone on the hood of a car is so unthreatening compared to a light and a script and all
Hmm.
that. And I wanted to capture so much more real stuff that I used the phone and that camera, and that was in my nice camera, one lens,
Sure. You know,
2 years.
I got so much stuff in like I have my Apple Notes on my MacBook here filled with video ideas and stuff that I cannot do by myself. So you and I
Yeah.
need to have a conversation at some point soon-ish
Do you
about
do Photoshop at all?
yeah, I got Photoshop. I got the whole Adobe
Did
suite.
have you seen this new AI build your own set Photoshop
Oh, I
video
haven't
stuff
tried
going
it.
on right now?
I have not tried it, but I do have
Matty
it.
Hapoya
Yeah,
has a video out,
he's great.
and
I love his
yeah,
videos.
he has a video where you can basically take your shot, right, your wide shot from your set, and then you just do object fill. It just
Yeah.
AI naturally generates what kind of mirror would look nice over there, and what kind of, and scales it to like
Yeah.
6K. So
Isn't it insane, really, how far we've come in such a short time? As soon as Chat GPT came out, right? Everybody's like, oh, this is a whole thing, right? And like
yeah,
overnight, just that quick. Holy freaking crap. The amount of stuff that you can do by
yeah,
literally, if you think of it, it can happen. You could probably do it.
yeah.
It's nuts.
It's pretty cool though. I mean, a good tool, right? Like just a tool. The thing about Chat GPT is like once it can, I'll be scared of it when it can really create, and come up with
Yeah,
clever ideas as opposed to just fill in the blanks. It's just really good at doing that.
it is. It certainly is. I have. I don't. I wanted to bring attention. I know last week I showed. I don't want to turn this into a sales pitch, so I'll keep it short. But I know I showed last week. I have a Tumblr that my wife is actually going to be running, making all of my merch going forward.
Yeah.
Right now,
Yep.
the merchandise that's on my website, I have a service sort of handling that for me, and we're going to be removing that service and then sort of bringing all of our merchandise in-house, because we do get some sales. People do buy shirts, which is really cool. But we're going to expand it into to little things. So I mean, we got the Tumblr that's coming, but I also wanted to show. I actually have a T-shirt that I'm wearing for the first time, if I could. So this shirt is going to be, this design, I should say, is going to be available through different, if you can see that, obviously, I have the Crown Vic on the front of this one. The way we're going to do this shirt is there's going to be 4 cars right off the top, where they're going to be sort of like a generic, this is a Crown Vic, this one's a Marauder, that kind of thing. But I'm also going to have the ability to upload your car, and I will have it designed to have your car on a shirt. Now, granted, that option will be more expensive, of course, but we will be doing that as well. So we do have a lot of cool things that we're going to be bringing in house, a little bit more control over what we're doing, because the stuff that we have now on the website is very. It's not for me. It works. It got the job done for now, but it's not for me. Dale, where did you go? He's gone. Hey, you're back.
No, I'm here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was just I tried to move my computer closer to,
Hey, whatever you got to do, man.
because I was just getting, because there's so much lag right now. You're like a minute behind me almost.
Oh no, that's no bueno.
Bizarre. Now we're talking. It's fine, but
Okay. You
I
have
did
a
notice
question.
that. Yeah, yeah. I noticed Justin wanted to touch on something that I had in my notes.
Yeah, the ones you left downstairs.
The ones I left downstairs is about Rob, the infamous Hoonmerk, and we did strike up a friendship. Him and I met early on when I decided to make the documentary, and it was just like immediately we became friends, and he was everything that I was looking for in a character, someone who could represent the Panther Platform with so much passion and everything that it's about, which is, backyard mechanic kind of stuff. And he's just like a salt of the earth kind of guy. and Kenny, his mechanic and best friend. Like, I mean, it doesn't get any better than that, my mechanic / best friend. And they're from Queens, New York, and they're real characters, and they're really lovable guys who have an incredible passion. Rob is an amazing driver, and has
he
that
scares me.
mentality.
His videos
Yeah.
scare the hell out of me.
He goes quick.
So I gotta say that what you're saying. The film does an incredible job at explaining or at giving you visuals of what you just explained. I can't.
Oh, yeah, it does. We tried to put that. Nothing worse than a video with a bunch of talking heads, just people just being interviewed. Got to show it. And he was game for it all too. I embedded myself with him. He met me when I was leaving Panther Mafia in Phoenix. I drove solo from Phoenix to Santa Fe. No. Tucson? No, wait a minute. Yeah, somewhere in New Mexico. Santa Fe. We met there. He drove all the way from New York. And then we drove to Tail of the Dragon from there in North Carolina. So we went on like this trip together, and it was really a beautiful experience, actually, like bucket list kind of stuff. Drive across America and Panthers together, just muffler deleting our way down the highway all day, every day.
How long were you on that sort of leg of the trip? In that side of the country over there.
I went twice. I went last year at this time to Mr. Random Reviews and Tail of the Dragon then. And then I drove back, and then I waited. And then this past spring, we went to, wait a minute. No, I went twice in the same year. Yeah, I went in July, and then I went in September. So, yeah.
Okay. And actually,
drove to LA, went across the country, back, then drove to LA again, then did the whole loop. Ended in Boston, and then drove home from Boston. And it was just complete madness.
I couldn't imagine
chaos
having that crew together, riding together.
Man,
tandem,
there's I have some outtakes and some bloopers. Well, first of all, I'm like Rob. He had a plumber's crack from hell, and I'd point the camera, and Kenny would come over and he'd review the footage. He goes, "Yeah, you see, you got Rob's ass in the picture again, right?" So I've got all this stuff on camera, and you could just have some really fun bloopers and outtakes.
Why don't you?
Hey, listen. It might be. I always think about Smokey and the Bandit. At the very end of Smokey and the Bandit, it went to two little black screens, kind of like this when the credits were rolling, and then they just had the outtakes and the bloopers and everything like that. So they were funny guys, man. Great dudes. Love those guys.
I used to do these really short 3 to 5 minute videos with this trucking buddy that I had. When I was driving truck.
Truck.
Oh yeah, I was driving. I was driving truck for a little while, and this guy used to record videos of him just telling stories, and they were always amazing. They were always funnier than hell. So I started bringing my technical part to the table and started recording him. The outtakes that we got from his videos they far outweigh they are so much better than the actual video themselves that it's just you can't help but to stick around. So like that's exactly why I thought like maybe you should. I mean, even if it's just like little droplets, little nuggets that you can give us. You know what I mean?
100%, man. That's gold. I love that stuff. There was so much, and there was like, of course, other things that you wouldn't want to put out there, but like ass crack is ass cracks. No one needs to actually see it.
No
one
you say it, that's enough.
Ass crack ever.
No, but I mean that's those things that I think can bring
you know what I mean,
personality. it could show a different level, a different side of you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the stinky side.
Yeah. Yeah, that too. Oh man,
Oh, we're digressing. See,
I
now it's
know.
getting bad, right? When you start like cracking terrible jokes
Yeah,
and
I think we're done.
no. But Justin asked me, and yourself, my experience, what the strongest Panther culture located,
That's a
and
great question. That's a really great question.
yeah,
That might require
it,
some thought, huh?
well, if you're just going by like numbers and that sort of thing, you have to say the West Coast is where it all kind of really
Yeah.
started, right?
As far as volume,
Um,
I would say, yeah.
as far as volume, but I think there's the same passion for the platform all through the East Coast and the West Coast. I know G in Philly does an amazing job pulling the Philadelphia Panther meets together and making that important. He always puts on an unbelievable, attracts a lot of Panthers from the East Coast. So I think it's less stylized on the East Coast, whereas Panther Mafia and on the West Coast, people are incredibly stylized.
A
They
lot of
really care
characters.
about a lot of
Yeah.
characters. The aesthetics of their car. The East Coast is more like rugged meat and potatoes kind of urban vibes, and then you got the middle of America from Indiana all the way to Chicago to North Carolina, where there's this just it really takes you all over the place, like Tennessee and North Carolina, and people derby them and stock cars, and then there's they're all over every 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 type of person,
Yeah.
white folk, black people,
Oh man.
Mexicans. Everybody has.
It's the most culturally
It's
diverse
awesome.
group that I've ever been a part of. You know
If
what
the
I mean?
world could be, like Crown Vic ownership
Oh yeah.
with other, it could be just. I always try to say that it would be unbelievable. Like
Yeah.
there'd be no problems.
Great White says, shout out to Texas and Dallas. I got to tell you, I have a large following in Texas. Like my website, gives me a lot of like analytics and different reports and stuff like that. And like people who view the
Yeah.
website. And of course, the social media does the same thing. I got to tell you, those guys know how to hold it down. And I get a lot of orders
Oh, yeah.
from Texas, man.
Movic.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yep. My wife and I actually even had like conversations about potentially, packing up,
Moving to
and
Texas?
moving the shop down there.
Yeah. Hey, why not? I haven't spent a lot of time in Texas. I've only been there twice, but it's like its own country.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Texas Panther, crazy. H-Town holding it down.
I think Eric came back from in Texas too.
Who's that? I lost you there for a brief second. Who was that? You said?
Derek from Panther Magazine. He just came back from Texas to a big meet. It was his first time out there.
Oh,
He
okay.
flew out there and I saw the pictures and everything. He was, yeah, it's they're Panther crazy there. And Vegas too, shout out to Vegas because that's where those cars thrive. There's no salt to destroy those cars out there, right? So they're still in big volumes.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, let's see. Did I miss any questions? Maybe. Let's see. I think we're caught up for the most part on the conversation.
Yeah.
Around country in Texas, most people come in. They're all out there. Yep. Okay. Well, what do you say, Dale? It's been almost an hour and a half. What do you think?
Yeah, it's been a slice, man. Hey, listen, let's keep building on all this stuff. And I really like I love just sharing it with everybody. So
Yeah,
let's keep it going.
absolutely. Anybody who's in here now, obviously, thank you so much for joining us today. And as I mentioned before, please, if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel because we absolutely have to continue to to grow this together, and we can't do it without you. So please subscribe to the channel, share it with everybody. You know, we're definitely getting some eyeballs, and that's the first step to this whole thing. And Dale and I have a lot of, you know, big dreams and conversations that we've had about this thing. I do believe that we can do it. We can do it for sure. We just need your help to get there. So I do appreciate everyone who has joined us and who is supporting us for this.
Love it. Well said.
All right, guys. Well, until next time, what do you think, Dale? Are we gonna do this again Thursday, or are we gonna just keep moving every same day, same time, or what?
I'm okay with it for now. Like,
Yeah.
you know, unless something changes, you know, that's the beauty of being your own boss. I think that it's nice to have something that's every Thursday or every, you know, to just be consistent down the road. It'll help. But like, let's keep building it, and I'll plug in some Ethernet cable next time and have a
Hey, man, that's what we're doing every week. As long as we improve, that's all that matters. But thanks again, everybody. I sincerely appreciate it, and we will be back same time, 7:55 next Thursday, which appears to be the 20th of July, 2023. Thanks again, everyone. Have a good night, and take care of yourself.
Peace.